My sister-in-law moved in after her divorce. Then she tried to turn my wife against me, frame me for cheating, and nearly wreck my whole life. So I took my brutal revenge. Hey Reddit, first time posting. Not really sure where to even start. A few weeks ago, my sister-in-law moved in with me and my wife after her divorce. I thought I was helping family. Instead, she accused me of cheating, faked screenshots, tried to turn my wife against me, and nearly destroyed my career. Buckle up. It gets real messy. I, 29 male, have been married about 4 years now. I am drowned in doctor life, barely functioning half the time from all the shift changes. My wife, 26 female, is in one of those jobs where she also works insane hours. Like if we both wake up at the same time, that's a freaking miracle. Most days lately, I'm walking in the door while she's halfway through brushing her teeth at night. We're lucky if we share a meal during the week. So when Friday hit and I found out I'd actually be off work by 5, it felt like winning a free vacation. Came home, she was already there, which almost felt fake for a second. Like I walked in and actually asked her, "Wait, you're home early?" She was. She'd wrapped up something early too, and suddenly, for the first time in over a week, we had an evening where neither of us had to run out or fall asleep mid-sentence. We didn't go anywhere, didn't make plans. Just threw on a dumb sci-fi movie we've both seen before, grabbed some blankets and crashed on the couch. Nothing lovey or cheesy, just sitting close, talking about regular stuff. What to do about the broken vacuum, whether the bathroom fan still sounds like a dying raccoon, if the water bill came in. Real thrilling stuff, but it felt normal, which we hadn't had in a bit. Now context. Her older sister, let's call her R, female, has been staying with us. She's 33 female, recently divorced, and from a culture where arranged marriages are common. Hers didn't work out, and now she's basically dealing with this weird in-between space. People back home don't want to arrange another marriage for her, and she's not really into dating either. She's been crashing in our guest room for a couple weeks while figuring her next move. She's been a pretty decent house guest, honestly. Doesn't leave messes, cooks her own food, pays attention to house rules. Not loud, not nosy. I had no complaints. It was easy to just treat her like a neutral background presence. During the movie, she came into the living room and sat on the other couch. Didn't say anything. We said, "Hey," and that was it. No big deal. Me and my wife stayed on the main couch. No weird kissing, no awkward cuddles. Just sitting close, watching the movie like two people who don't get to see each other that often. That's it. At one point, I turned to her and said, kind of casually, "You're the most beautiful woman in the world." It wasn't planned, just popped out, opt. I meant it. And I said it quietly, like something you say when the mood's low-key. She smiled a little and kept watching the screen. Didn't notice until after, but R left the room maybe a few minutes later. I figured she got bored or went to her room, or needed to take a call. Didn't think twice. My wife went to bed a little while later to go do her nighttime stuff. I stayed back in the kitchen, scrolling on my phone, checking some work emails and dumb sports news. Then R comes out of the hallway and just stares at me. I look up like, "Hey, everything all right?" She hits me with this sharp, passive-aggressive tone. "Nice little scene back there." I blinked, confused. "What? You two, on the couch. You think that's appropriate when someone just lost their marriage?" I was stunned. Like I thought maybe I missed something. I asked her what she meant. She starts going off, saying we were flaunting our happy marriage in her face, that we were rubbing it in, that we were performing, just to remind her that she's single now. I was trying to play it cool, like we were just watching a movie. I didn't think, but she cut me off. Then she brought up the thing I said to my wife. "You said she was the most beautiful woman in the world. What does that make me, huh?" Now I was genuinely speechless. It was a comment between me and my wife. It wasn't some public declaration meant to insult anyone. I told her that. I wasn't saying anything about you. I was just talking to my wife. That wasn't enough. She got more upset. Started throwing more weird questions my way. So what makes her better than me? Am I just invisible? Unattractive? Worthless? I told her I didn't think any of that. I wasn't comparing anyone. It was just a personal moment, that's all. But she wouldn't let it go. Then she suddenly teared up, like full-on crying. She stepped forward and kind of raised her arms a little, like she wanted me to hug her. I froze. Like I'd just been yelled at, and now I'm supposed to comfort her? I couldn't move. It didn't feel right. The vibe had been all over the place. My brain was saying, nope. I shook my head slowly. Didn't say anything dramatic. Just didn't move. She dropped her arms, wiped her face, and said, "Okay," then walked off. I stood there in the kitchen alone, staring at the fridge like it might explain what the hell just happened. Later that night, My wife came back out of the bedroom. I told her sister had a weird moment. Didn't go into the whole thing. Just said she seemed upset and I wasn't sure why. My wife nodded like she already expected it. She's been struggling, she said. Just give her some space. And I did. I tried. But I had this pit in my stomach that something about that whole scene wasn't normal. Something was off. I just didn't know yet how far off it really was. After that awkward thing in the kitchen where R cried and asked for a hug, I figured we'd both just avoid each other and keep it moving. Nope. Next morning, I head to the kitchen to grab coffee before work. And there she is. Already there. Standing like she's been waiting. She turns around like nothing happened and says, "Morning!" All peppy like we're co-workers at a holiday party. I give her a quick nod and start making my coffee like nothing's weird, even though everything feels weird now. She starts talking about how she's going to deep clean the guest room and maybe reorganize the pantry just to help out. I didn't ask. No one asked. I keep it short. Cool, thanks. And grab my travel mug. At work, I'm trying to focus, but my brain keeps jumping back to the night before. I keep thinking, was that normal? Like, was I just being harsh by not hugging her? But then I remember, she was yelling at me 1 second, and then asking for physical comfort the next. That's not a grief thing. That's a manipulation thing. I get back home that night, and R's at the dining table with her laptop open. Not working, just sitting there. She watches me come in. Doesn't say anything, just watches. I give her a quick, hey, and head straight to the bedroom. Wife's in there finishing up work emails. Doesn't even look up when I sit down on the bed. I mention that her sister seems fine now. She barely reacts, just mumbles, "That's good," and goes back to typing. All right then, that was weird. The next 2 days are quiet, but tense. Like walking on gravel with cheap sneakers. You're not hurt, but it's not comfortable either. R is always there. Never in the way, but always in my personal bubble. I come downstairs to grab my wallet. She's on the stairs. I go to take out the trash. She's in the garage folding towels. She doesn't say much, but she's just around. All the time. One day, I'm working from home. I finish up a Zoom call and head to the kitchen for lunch. She's already there, eating at the table. I start heating up leftovers, trying to act like she's not there. Then she says, "You and my sister barely see each other these days, huh?" I keep it neutral. "Yeah, it's been a busy month." She goes, "I remember how hard that was with my ex. The distance. That's usually where things start breaking down." I don't respond. I just finish heating my food and go back to the den to eat alone. Later that night, I'm walking past the hallway, and I hear her talking to someone on the phone. Doors half closed, she doesn't see me. She says, "Well, he's definitely pulling away, but that's what happens when people feel guilty, right?" I stop. Not for long, maybe a second or two, but that line doesn't sit right. Next day, I'm out in the garage fixing the old hose connection. R walks in holding a grocery bag. "Oh, I grabbed some things for the house," she says, smiling. "Hope that's okay." "Sure," I say, not looking up. Then she goes, "You're quiet lately." "Busy," I mutter, tightening the connector. She steps a little closer. "You know, I'm not mad about the other night." I stop and stand. I didn't ask. She looks a little annoyed that I didn't give her more. Then she shrugs and walks back inside, like it was some kind of test I failed. That night, I tell my wife I think her sister's been acting a little off. I keep it vague. I don't bring up the crying, or the hug, or the phone convo. I just say, she's been making weird comments about our marriage. I think maybe she's projecting or something. Wife sighs and rubs her forehead. She's going through a lot. Just let her stay a little longer. She's trying to figure out her next step. I nod. Not worth pushing yet. But I'm definitely watching now. Anyways, next morning I open the fridge and there's a post-it note on my leftovers. It just says, "Didn't know these were yours. Sorry." Except, no one touched the leftovers. They're sealed. Untouched. I walk into the dining room holding the container. R's there, reading something on her phone. I ask, "Did you move this?" She looks up and goes, "No, I thought sis did." I look at her. She looks back. I put the container down, go grab my keys, and leave for work early. Whatever game she's playing, I'm not getting dragged into it. But it didn't stop there. Later that week, I get home from work, earlier than usual. I walk in through the garage and step into the kitchen. The house is quiet. Too quiet. I head toward the living room, and that's when I see her. R is sitting on the couch. Not in sweats. Not in pajamas. She's wearing this ridiculous silk robe. Short, barely tied, and very obviously lingerie underneath. Like black lace, deep cut, full look-at-me mode. She's got a wine glass in her hand. Juice, probably. but she's swirling it like it's some rich widow drama. TV's playing some rom-com on mute. She doesn't even flinch when I walk in. I stop cold in the hallway. Just stand there for a second, trying to figure out if I'm hallucinating from sleep deprivation. She looks over at me, smirks, and says, "Your wife said you weren't coming home till late." That's it. Calm. Like this was planned. I don't respond. I don't move. My brain's catching up to what I'm seeing. The robe, the attitude, the fact she made herself comfortable in my living room like she lives here, like I'm the guest. "Did you need something?" I ask, voice flat, trying to hold it together. She shrugs. "Just catching up on a movie. Thought I'd relax." I take one slow step toward the stairs. "Put some clothes on." She raises an eyebrow. "Why? You nervous someone might get the wrong idea?" "No," I snap. "I'm just not interested in whatever game you think you're playing." She laughs. Full-on giggles. "Relax. It's just silk. Don't act like you've never seen skin before." I ignore her and go straight upstairs without another word. Slammed the bedroom door. Locked it. That was the moment I knew. I had to start documenting everything. Because this wasn't going away on its own. This wasn't just lies anymore. She was getting bold. That weekend's with me catching my wife staring at her phone and wiping her eyes when she thinks I'm not looking. And that's when it hit me. This isn't just weird anymore. Something's being said. I didn't push her on it. Just walked past like I didn't notice. But my gut told me whatever was going on behind the scenes was bigger than I thought. I wasn't just imagining the cold shoulder. Something was off. And if I kept sitting back and waiting for it to fix itself, I was going to wake up divorced one day wondering what the hell happened. So a couple days later, I decided to test it. I finished my shift early on a Tuesday and didn't tell anyone I was coming home. No texts, no heads up. Just grabbed my bag, got in the car, and drove straight home. I figured, maybe, I'd finally get a normal night. Just a quiet dinner with my wife. No tension, no fake small talk, no weird third-party drama floating in the air. That's all I wanted. Instead, I walk in, dead silent. The second I open the door, I hear voices from upstairs. Wife. I don't know how to talk to him anymore. SIL. That's how it starts. Emotional distance. You feel it before you see it. I stood in the hallway frozen, listening. Wife. But what if I'm wrong? What if I'm just projecting? SIL. You're not. Trust your gut. I didn't. And look how my marriage ended. I stepped away before they noticed me. Chest tight. I wasn't just upset. I was raging. This wasn't just her venting. She was planting things. Weaponizing her own failed marriage to poison mine. I went straight to the garage just to cool off. 15 minutes later, I walk in like I just got home. Shake my keys, yell, "Hey, act normal." Wife gives a half-hearted wave from the couch. SIL is on her phone, fake smiling like I didn't just hear her trying to break us apart. I go upstairs, start changing, and that's when I see something on the dresser. A little folded paper. My wife's handwriting. Just a grocery list, but it's got a small scribble on the corner that says, "Don't forget what she said," underlined twice. I grab the note and just stare at it. What the hell does that even mean? That night, things blow up. We're cleaning up after dinner. Me loading the dishwasher, wife drying plates. SEL's wiping counters. I say, "You good? You seem off today." My wife turns to me, eyes cold. "Do you think you've been transparent with me lately?" I blink. Yeah?" She drops the plate in the sink. "Because I feel like you're hiding things." SIL immediately chimes in. "Maybe don't corner him like this." He looks stressed. I turn to her. "No one asked you." She steps back, hands up. "I'm just trying to help." "No, you're trying to wedge yourself in the middle of our marriage," I snap. Wife slams the towel down. "Why are you yelling at her?" "I'm about to lose it." I walk out of the kitchen, go sit on the steps to breathe. I hear them whispering behind me, probably painting me as unstable now. Later that night, I'm in bed, and wife's on her phone. I ask her again. "What did she tell you?" Silence. I press. "You keep talking like I did something. What exactly did R say?" She finally says it. Quiet but sharp. "She said you told her you regretted marrying me." I sat up. "What?" "She said you two had a talk while I was at work. That you said everything feels routine, and that you wonder if you settled." My mouth dropped open. "That never happened. I have never said anything like that. She also said you hugged her, that you were comforting her and it got emotional." I stared at her. She cried and tried to hug me. I didn't. I walked away. Wife gets up, pacing now. "Then why would she say it happened?" "Because she's lying. She's my sister. She's manipulating you." My wife froze at the doorway. She wanted to believe me. I could see it. But her sister had been working her for days now. And I stayed quiet for too long. That's on me. Next morning, I check my phone and see a notification from the doorbell cam app. Open it. It's footage from 2 days ago. My wife coming home around 4 p.m. Then, R opens the door for her, wearing my hoodie, the one I thought I misplaced. She's standing there, hair down, barefoot, wearing my clothes. Wife walks past her like she doesn't notice. I scroll through more footage. A clip from the day before. R walking into the garage, alone. Picks up my phone from the shelf, looks around, and unlocks it. I use no passcode at home. Dumb, I know. I lose it. I storm into the living room. R's on the couch, sipping tea like some peaceful monk. You wore my hoodie and went through my phone. She doesn't even flinch. I was cold, and I needed a charger. Try again, I say, pulling up the footage on my phone. She looks, eyes twitching. Okay, so maybe I borrowed it. Why are you making this a thing? My wife walks in mid-sentence. Making what a thing? I turn to her. You saw her in my hoodie, right? Wife. Yeah, I just assumed you let her borrow it. Nope, never did. R starts fake crying instantly. I can't believe you're attacking me like this. I was just trying to feel normal again. Your clothes were lying around and You went through my phone too, I cut in. Wife turns to her. Wait, what? I only looked at the clock, R yells. It wasn't locked. I look my wife dead in the eyes. You want to trust her? Fine. But get ready, because the next thing she'll say is, I touched her or some crap. R gasps. That's disgusting. I would never. Yeah? You already made up lies about what I said. What's stopping you? Wife doesn't know where to look. I walk out. I've had enough. That night, I sleep in the guest room. First time in our marriage. I should have known it wasn't over. After the hoodie and phone thing, I was dead sure my wife was finally seeing through R's crap. But nah, R wasn't done. Not even close. She'd only just started the real show. Next morning, I wake up in the guest room. Back sore, pillows trash. I drag myself to the kitchen, still debating whether I should call R out publicly again or just stay quiet. But my wife's already up. Sitting at the table, face blank, phone in hand. R is across from her, dabbing her eyes with a tissue like she's starring in a low-budget drama. That fake I'm so fragile act that somehow works on everyone except the person she's trying to destroy. No one says anything for a second. Then my wife says, flat voice, not even looking at me, we need to talk. I sit down, arms crossed. All right. She turns her phone around and pushes it toward me. There it is. Screenshots. A whole string of texts that look like they're from me, saved under my contact name. Messages like, don't worry, she'll never find out. You know I think about you when I'm home. That night meant more than I thought. I blink. I actually blink and laugh. That's fake. That's not me. R sniffles. He deleted them from his phone. He told me to. Brother, are you serious right now? I turn to my wife. You believe this? She's shaking. Not crying, just tense. Jaw locked, eyes red. I don't know, she whispers. I don't know what to believe anymore. Okay, I say, slow and calm. Look at the timestamps. You think I sent these at 3:47 a.m. when I was on call at the ER? You said you were sleeping there that night, she mutters. I almost laugh again. You can check my shift log. I was at the hospital. You want to call my attending? I was elbow deep in someone's chest. R stands up suddenly, like she's had enough. Why are you yelling at me? You took advantage of me emotionally. You were all over me, and now you're pretending it didn't happen? My mouth drops. What? You used me, she yells, voice rising. You hugged me that night and told me you were confused. You kissed my forehead. I slam the table. That never happened. Wife stands now too. Stop! Both of you! R starts fake crying again. I didn't want to say anything. I didn't. But he's been coming on to me since you let me stay here. I'm frozen. This is insane. She's lying with the confidence of someone who's done it before and gotten away with it. Then she hits the final nail. You should check the camera footage. He probably deleted it. That's why there's nothing there. She's thought of everything. My wife doesn't say anything. She just walks away. Phone still in hand, upstairs to our room. Door shuts. R turns to me. You shouldn't have pushed me away, she says low. You could have made this easy. I stare at her, stunned. You want to burn your sister's life just because I didn't hug you? She shrugs. You'll be gone soon anyway. She walks off, like she just dropped off an Amazon package and not a thermonuclear accusation. I don't sleep that night. I sit in the guest room, lights off, laptop open. I go into full forensic mode. Pull every log from the Wi-Fi router. Check timestamps. I go into the camera system app. Even if she says I deleted something, I want every second backed up to the cloud. Then I remember something. My old iPad. It syncs with my messages. It's buried in the garage, forgotten. I charge it, boot it up. Nothing. All clear. No sketchy messages. No signs of anything she faked. Just my usual messages with my wife, some coworkers, and a few spam texts. But it gives me an idea. If she faked screenshots, then she needed a burner phone. And if she wanted them to look like my texts, she'd need to create a fake contact named after me. I start searching. The next day, I act normal. Silent, controlled. Wife's cold. R avoids eye contact now, but she's not hiding, because she thinks she already won. Fine, let her think that. But by the end of the day, I'm ready. Later that night, wife comes downstairs. She's got her bag in hand. I stand up. You leaving? She nods. I need space. Can I show you one thing before you go? She hesitates, then nods. I pull out my old iPad. Hand it to her. Check the messages. Everything. Go ahead. She scrolls. 5 minutes. 10. Nothing bad. No red flags. No deleted messages. Okay, she says slowly. So the only way R could have messages like that is if she used a fake number and saved it under my name. She looks unsure. I walk to the kitchen, grab something I printed earlier, a screenshot from the Wi-Fi admin panel. Here, this is the MAC address of a new device that connected to our router last week. It's not your phone, not mine. Want to guess who had a burner? Wife takes it. You're saying she faked it? She framed me. And she's not done. I show her the footage from the garage cam. R tossing a small prepaid phone into the trash bag, wrapping it in tissue and tying it off. I pulled it out this morning, I say. Phone's fried, but not before I took pics of it connected to our Wi-Fi. My wife stares at me, eyes wide now. Then we hear it. R coming downstairs. Oh, what are we all doing here? She says, pretending to yawn. Wife turns, holding up the screenshots. Explain this. R freezes. I step forward. Yeah, let's hear it. R just stood there, like she was waiting for someone to call cut and hand her an award. She tried to recover fast, but her face had already cracked. My wife was still holding the screenshots. I could see her processing everything in real time. The fake texts, the burner phone, the hoodie, the lies. So, I said, anything else you want to throw out there before I finish this? R smiled. Like we were all part of some inside joke. You're acting like I did something wrong. I stared at her. You tried to destroy my marriage. She shrugged. I didn't destroy anything. It was already crumbling. I just brought it into the light. My wife snapped her head toward her. Are you serious right now? R didn't blink. He was all over me. The way he talked to me, the way he looked at me. He was bored of you and too much of a coward to admit it. You're lying, my wife said, voice shaky. R stepped forward like she was about to deliver a TED Talk. Oh, please. You think you're untouchable because you got married first? You think you're better than me because your life stayed on track? You've always gotten everything handed to you. I was just borrowing him. Not like he was doing anything special with you anyway. That was it. My wife's jaw dropped. She looked at me, then back at R. Get out. R rolled her eyes. I'm not done. Oh, you're done, I said. Dead in the water. She crossed her arms. You think you're going to twist this and make me the villain? You don't get to act righteous now. You were leading me on. All those little talks, the glances, don't play dumb. You literally faked messages, I said. You staged an entire affair. Because it was real to me, she snapped. You could have had me. You wanted me. You just didn't have the balls to leave her. My wife took a step back like she got hit in the chest. I trusted you, my wife shouts. R scoffed. That's your fault. Who brings a newly divorced woman into their house and thinks things will stay neat? I walked toward her. You didn't just break trust. You calculated everything. You logged into our Wi-Fi, spoofed my contact, faked a whole romantic arc in your burner phone, and then used it to blow up a marriage you were jealous of. Her smile faded. Jealous? Please. You two were pathetic. Your whole house reeked of effort, trying so hard to be the perfect couple. It was sad. So you blew it up because we were happy? My wife said, voice cracking. R shrugged. I wanted to feel wanted. I was tired of being the one everyone pitied. And your answer was framing your brother-in-law? I said. She laughed. I didn't think it would go that far. But once she started believing me, it just got easier. I grabbed my phone and opened the voice recorder app. Cool. Say all that again. Her face turned white. You recorded that? Since the second you stepped downstairs. She lunged for my phone and I backed away fast. Nope. Cloud backed already, I said. Even if you throw this phone into a fire, it's already out there. You have no right, she yelled. You can't record me without telling me. You gave that up when you started ruining people's lives, I shot back. My wife was already on her phone. I'm calling Dad. I'm telling him everything. I don't care if he believes me or not. R started pacing. You're not going to do that. You're just mad. You'll calm down. No, my wife said. This is done. You are not my sister anymore. You think they'll take your side? R said. You're the one who let your husband flirt under your roof. You're the one who didn't stop it. I stepped in. You're the one who wore my hoodie and faked texts like a deranged middle schooler. You said I looked good in it, she snapped. Never happened. You thought it, she said. Like that counted. My wife actually laughed. Oh my God. You're insane. R pointed at her. Don't act innocent. You've always made me feel like the broken one, the backup daughter. You just hide it better. I tried to help you, my wife said. I took you in. I listened. I defended you. I didn't ask to be saved, R screamed. Yeah, we noticed, I muttered. R started crying again, louder, messier, hoping someone would feel bad enough to forget what just happened. But it was done. Wife walked upstairs, packed her a bag. You have 30 minutes, she said, dropping it at R's feet. After that, we're calling the cops. You're really kicking me out? R whimpered. You're lucky we're not pressing charges. You two are disgusting, she spat. You think this makes you better than me? No, I said. Just smarter. And way less desperate. She grabbed her bag, stormed out, slamming the door like she was the one who got betrayed. Silence filled the house. My wife sat down, staring at nothing. I sat next to her. No words. Just breathing. The aftermath wasn't clean. Her parents didn't believe it at first. R had already called them with her spin. They turned on me after I opened up about my pain. And they ate it up. Until we sent them everything. The screenshots. The video. The voice recording. After that, her dad sent a single text. We're disappointed and ashamed. You'll need to sort this out on your own. My wife cried for an hour straight after that. Not for R, for the loss of trust, the weight of betrayal, the damage done. I didn't say much, just sat with her, held her hand. 3 weeks later, we're still fixing things. We talk more. We check in more. We treat each other like people again, not just roles in a house. We were starting to feel normal again, me and my wife. Therapy helped. So did space. We were both rebuilding trust, slowly. But it was happening. I'd blocked R's number. My wife had too. We'd changed the Wi-Fi passwords, put locks on the cabinets, even added new security cams. Not because we were paranoid, but because when someone tries to implode your marriage from the inside, it leaves a scar. We were moving on. Until the email. It was a Thursday. I was at work, finishing rounds when my phone buzzed. The notification just said, "You need to see this before it spreads." From a concerned friend. Attached. A PDF. Now usually I ignore that crap. Scam emails, spam, whatever. But this one had my full name in the subject line. Work title. It wasn't random. Curious, I open it. Boom. Right there. A typed letter. Fake letterhead. A formal complaint addressed to the medical board. Signed anonymously, but written as if it were from a patient's family. It accused me of having an ongoing sexual affair with my sister-in-law. Emotionally manipulating two women in the same household, treating patients while mentally compromised due to domestic issues, making inappropriate advances toward vulnerable women under my care. There were fake dates, fabricated room numbers, even a false nurse witness name. At the bottom, a line stood out. We hope the hospital will not protect another male predator under the guise of professionalism. I felt my whole body go cold. I knew who wrote it. No one else had that much context, that much spite, that much precision. She knew I worked in a high-liability profession. One bad whisper, and your whole career's hanging by a thread. I called my wife instantly. Told her to check her email, too. Nothing. That's when it clicked. She only sent it to my hospital. She wasn't trying to humiliate me publicly. She was trying to kill my job. I got home that night in full damage control mode. Already emailed HR and legal, submitted a written refutation, pulled badge logs and shift records. I was on a fence now. But when I walked through the door, my wife was on the phone, with her mother, and she looked pale. When she hung up, she said, "You're not going to believe this." She showed me a Facebook post, public, and now shared across dozens of profiles, written by R. It claimed I got her pregnant, dead serious, full essay. After months of silence, I can't keep protecting him. I stayed quiet to preserve my sister's peace, but I was used and discarded. Now I'm left carrying the consequences of someone else's betrayal. She even attached a photoshopped ultrasound pic. Blurred details. cropped name. But it was just enough to look real if you weren't paying attention. My wife was shaking. I was beyond that. I was done. I'm suing her, I said, grabbing my laptop. I'm done playing nice. She wants war? She's getting scorched earth. I already reported the post, my wife said, voice dead calm. So did Mom, and Aunt, and half the extended family. Apparently her dad had already seen it and called her to say, "This is disgusting. Don't come back here." She blocked him. She blocked everyone. She was unraveling, publicly. Next day, I met with the hospital legal team. I showed them everything. Security footage of her being kicked out, logs proving she didn't live there anymore, voice recordings from her fake confession, screenshots of the Facebook post and email. They were stunned. Is she mentally unstable? Someone asked. I don't know, I said. I just know she's dangerous. They launched their own internal report, but by the end of the day, I had an official statement clearing me, and a note saying they'd be pursuing legal action on their end for the defamation. But that wasn't enough. So I hired a lawyer too. Within a week, R was served a cease and desist. My wife also filed a restraining order. And then came the final blow. Her job, one she just started at some wellness clinic, fired her after they saw the post in our legal letters. Turns out they didn't want someone under investigation for online harassment and impersonation of medical authorities. And she tried posting another vague rant after that. Something like, when powerful men silence victims, remember who helped them. No one bought it. Her friends? Ghosted? Her family? Cut her off. My wife? Never spoke her name again. We got our life back, but at a price. Some part of my wife still feels broken about it. Not because she lost her sister, but because she let someone like that so close for so long. Me? I'm fine now. Little more guarded. Little more aware of how fast someone can spin a fake world if you're not watching. But I'll say this. If you ever think calling your wife the most beautiful woman in the world is harmless, just make sure her unhinged sister isn't lurking in the background. Because some people don't want love, they want attention. And when they can't get it the right way, they'll take it the worst way possible.